Actually, what got me interested in law was my interest in religious liberty. And that interest goes, I think, way back. I've tried to think about how that was kind of planted in me, but my dad was a principal of a Christian school and the pastor of a church. And my mom was interested in politics. And so I grew up aware of the importance of religious liberty. In a lot of ways, I think it's in my blood, right? I knew what would happen if my dad's church didn't have the freedom to meet, or if the government tried to regulate the Christian school. I knew the risk there. And I think it also played into it that I grew up during the Cold War. And so we had missionaries who would come to our church and talk about their experience going behind the Iron Curtain to Romania and to Yugoslavia. Even into my junior year of college, I was a Spanish and political science major. I loved language, I loved culture. I thought I'd do something in that arena. But during my junior year, I interned on Capitol Hill. Just as the experience, it was pretty amazing. And in that, people kept asking me, are you going to law school after college? And I said, no. I had never thought of going into law. And I'm not really sure how the Lord worked in that season, but I was reading a biography of Amy Carmichael, and she was a missionary in India who wrote a lot about self-sacrifice. And the name of her biography is A Chance to Die. But she wrote a lot about self-sacrifice, and in reading her biography, I started to think, like, my prayer about my future should be, where can I serve you best, God? I think I had always assumed I would serve God wherever I went, but somehow my prayer changed. And in praying, God, where can I serve you best? I just started to feel this weight of, Becky, you care about religious liberty. I'm like, yeah. And to work with these issues, you need a law degree. A friend talked to me and said, would you be interested in going into the Bush administration? President Bush had just been elected and was at the Department of Labor for a season, but then a position opened in the White House Office of Faith-Based and Community Initiatives. Yeah, the Lord just led me there. So I hadn't seen my career going that direction, but I ended up at the White House in the Office of Faith-Based and Community Initiatives. I was at the White House for about 2 years, and then I had my first child, and I stepped out of the workplace in that season, just training him with a Christian worldview, and then his siblings that followed that. And I was actually focused on that for about 15 years, ended up homeschooling. And it was challenging. I was hearing from people, you really can't get back into law once you've been out. I knew one other woman who had stayed home with her kids for about 15 years and then returned to law. But I just started putting out feelers. And I had met Kelly Shackelford at the White House. I don't know that we even really talked much, but I knew his name. And so I just sent him an email saying, I'm looking to get back into the field of First Amendment work. Do you have any advice? And shortly thereafter, I had an interview, and I think within maybe a week and a half, I was offered a job doing contract work, which then turned into employment. So many people don't understand the value of religious freedom, and they see it more as a threat, instead of understanding that it's foundational to how our country was created and also how it can flourish now, to have a tolerance for other people who have different views. It's sad to see where the country's going, but I'm hopeful that with the work that we're doing and the issues that are coming to light more in the culture, that maybe we'll come to a turning point. I'm Becky Dummermuth, and I'm first in the fight.